So we have an amazing looking turkey. Chef, we've deep fried it, so if anybody can show us how to carve this thing up, I think it's you.
I mean, we look at this beautiful turkey that we've just pulled from the Butterball fryer. Now we're going to take it, we'll carve it and arrange it neatly on the platter.
Okay.
So that, you know, people eat with their eyes. So we're going to make it, you know, just equally as good when we carve it. The first thing I like to do is to remove the wings.
Okay.
Now that wing, it would be for you and I, without a doubt, because I always save the best for the individual that's cooking the turkey. Now, what I like to do when carving a turkey is I want to remove the legs. And so what I'll do is I'll work around the outside. We can break this apart here. Right along the back side of the turkey, I glide my knife along the side of the backbone. Okay. And then I hit it to where the thigh bone connects right into the backbone. And then what we're going to do is to slide the knife up. You remember the oyster that we delicately placed a little bit of that extra seasoning into?
Yes, I do.
And we're going to pull that out too.
Go save that skin for sure.
The skin, I mean, it has all that great flavor to it. And here again, just on this side, we're going to pull that out a little bit, and we're going to glide our knife right along that backbone until we reach the thigh bone, let it pop, and get up between the knuckle. And then it's right up there is where the oyster is, and we go right up alongside that backbone, and then we pull that off.
Like an art. There you go.
Now, the breastbone, you can almost take it and you can feel it.
Yep.
So what I like to do is, over here in the front, I like to take, here again, some of that great skin that we have, where it has all that wonderful flavor. I cut that off, and we save that for someone to enjoy. And the reason why I did that is so that I can expose that wishbone.
Okay.
So it makes it easier for me to carve. So we're going to take the knife, and we're going to go right down alongside the breastbone. The other name for it, John, too, is they call it the keel bone.
Keel bone, okay.
Yeah, because when you look at it, it looks like the bottom of a boat.
So you expose the wishbone so that you can see where to cut. You
so
cut right down the center of that.
And I cut right down the center.
Breastbone.
You would not believe how moist this particular turkey is. I mean, it's very moist. We'll do the same thing to the other side. We're just going to go right down that on the side of the keel bone.
So you're de-breasting this turkey instead of slicing it the traditional way that you see so many people do.
Well, the reason why I like to do it this way, I want to be there and enjoy my turkey with the rest of the guests.
Yep.
Because when you slice it off of the bone and at the table, it's so slow.
Yeah.
Here, everybody can enjoy it,
Yep.
and I can sit down and enjoy the turkey with them too.
I like that.
And then we also then have, you know, the wings that are here, and I kind of leave them, you know, pretty much on their own. And we can take this one off too.
Okay.
And it just breaks off. And then you can see exactly where the joint is, and then we can use it. And then we just have an empty little carcass. What I'll do is I'll put that in with the gravy. That's what I like to use that for. One of the nice things that I like to do is we'll take the thigh, and we're going to separate the thigh from the drumstick. And here again, I leave the drumstick a little bit whole, because that's another
Kid meal.
The kid's meal. We set that right there. Then we're going to easily just bone this out and trying to keep it as much as intact to the thigh as possible. And the reason for that is so when I slice it, I get some nice pieces of meat that come off.
So the juice that we're seeing in this turkey in the thighs and the actual breast itself is amazing. And we see those results every single time with the Butterball electric fryer.
You know, and that's one thing that I've always noticed too, because one of the biggest complaints, you know, I answer the phone on Turkey Talk Line, and they always say, my turkey is so dry. And the first thing I ask them, do you have a thermometer?
Yeah.
Because a thermometer is your best friend when it comes to cooking a turkey that's perfectly moist.
So what temperature do you want for the perfect turkey?
What I like is at the thickest part of the breast, which was right above the wing, I like that around 165.
Okay.
And then we want the thigh around 180. It's cooked at 165, but at 180, it's a little bit more tender. Now, if you notice, I use a fairly long knife. And the reason for that, I allow the knife to do the work, because I'm just going to take long strokes, and then we're just going to slice the turkey.
I've asked you this question before, but you've been a master chef for how long?
Since 1983.
1983.
At one time when I got my Master Chef, I was the youngest one, and then all of a sudden these young whippersnappers
So
come up and they come up and take it away from me.
You're not the youngest
Not
Master
anymore.
Chef anymore.
Not anymore. But I mean, it's, you know, great experience. You know, being among the fraternity of Master Chefs, it's really a great experience for me too. Now you notice what I did with it too is I'm taking the thighs that I just cut, and I like to pile them right here. And now we're going to take the breast. Now if you notice the curvature of this breast, that's going to fit within the curve of the platter. So it's all about presentation and then taking long strokes with the knife so I can cut through that skin. And you'll notice too is I don't like it cut real thin.
Okay.
I like to cut it a little bit thicker because it gives a little bit more texture. Now we see how that fits right inside there. And then we'll do the same thing to this.
Okay. So here's another question for you. How many turkeys have you cooked?
You know how many turkeys you've fried? I think I'm right there next to you, 1,000.
We have cooked a lot of amazing recipes, and the thing that we love about turkey is so many people think that turkey is that Thanksgiving, Christmas recipe. Well, obviously that's when the majority of them are done. But we have loved this recipe so much, we're actually frying turkeys year round. We have deep fried another perfect turkey. We have carved it up from one of the most amazing chefs and friends that Masterbuilt could have, Chef Tony.
you.
And it doesn't close out any better than when it's time to give a little wing toast.
Boom.
And dive in. If you want these recipes and more tips from this great guy and myself, check us out at masterbuilt.com.
This is good.